Thank you, Honorable Consul Mubarak, for organizing the event, for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. Yes, so I have a presentation. Okay, next slide. Yes, so again, a little bit about the labor shortage. This is nothing new for anyone. There are a lot of people missing in Germany. For a lot of companies, we see 42% in the service sector and 25% in the manufacturing sector. More and more people will retire in the upcoming year, what we also just heard. And these gaps need to be filled from people who come in from outside. We see that the foreign employees, the numbers are going up, 4.9% in 2024. And I don't have the figure for Indians, but I'm pretty sure Indians are the majority that is going up right now. We know that the consulates and embassies in India are issuing more and more visas every year for employment over here. Now, on the German side, we have the Skilled Immigration Act, Fachkräfteeinwanderungsgesetz. It was introduced in 2020, and we had some updates about it in 2023 to allow even more migration to Germany. It's based around showing that you are a skilled professional. So in German, this would be Fachkraft. I call it skilled professional. You can show this by showing that you have a qualification that compares to a German degree or vocational education. You can show that you're a skilled professional by showing relevant experience for the job that you want to work in, or you can show that you have potential for the German labor market and come to Germany on something like a job seeker visa, the Chancenkarte. Now, it's important to note that the salary of anyone who's hired from abroad has to be in line with what a local person would earn in the same profession in the same region. So the Migration Act makes sure that we don't pay anybody worse only because they're coming in from abroad. And also the law is written in a way that we don't have quotas, that we don't have a restriction that only people can come who work in shortages profession, but anybody who's skilled and who gets a job offer is welcome to come to Germany and work over here. Now, I want to talk about what does it mean to have fair, ethical, and sustainable migration. It's important that the migration not only follows the legal laws, but is also done in an ethical and fair manner. Fair migration means that the applicants know what they're getting into, that they're well informed before they come, that they're not exploited, and that there are also not excessive fees for them. Yeah. A lot of Indians want to come to Germany and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get over here, and that includes sometimes paying horrendous sums to be recruited to end up over here. That shouldn't be done. In that sense, the person that is coming is being exploited. It's also important that their qualifications are recognized fairly and their experience is valued. We had a case of a candidate who had an optometry degree from India and was working as an optometrist, Augenoptiker. And then he really wanted to come to Germany, and the private recruiter told him the only way to come to Germany is doing a vocational education as a nurse, Ausbildung als Krankenpfleger, which is basically sending this person 5 steps back in their career just for them to come to Germany. And of course, nothing was illegal. This person can come to Germany and do vocational education as a nurse, but this is not helping anyone. So part of the ethical migration, the fair migration, is to really see what has this person done. India has great education system. There are very valuable educations and work experience that we also want to have on the German labor market, contributing with what they've already learned in Germany. It's also important that they have the same access to the rights that local workers have. Integration also really, really crucial. The idea is really that the people come to Germany, integrate here, become part of the society. The idea is not that they come here, work, and then go back home. And also, even if they want to go back home, they should be integrated well. In the German Chamber of Commerce, we also know that people who have some work experience in Germany and then come back to India, also really valuable there on the labor market. There are a lot of German companies in India who would love to hire somebody like that. What we need more of is zero placement fees for migrants. I know this is a little bit of a controversial topic. A lot of people will say like, no, but they need some skin in the game. They need to be dedicated. That's why we have to charge them. There are models where you can have a deposit. There are also models where you can say, what we did is a model where we would pay a stipend, and only if they show up to the German classes, they get the stipend. If they miss out classes, they don't get the stipend. And I think it's important to see that only because somebody is willing to pay, it doesn't mean that we should charge them. And also this goes into the direction of the German employers. It's effort for this person from India to learn German, to come to Germany. What we also need more of is digital tools and also multilingual tools, not only for the candidates in India. I know there's a lot of information on Make It in Germany, which I think is a great portal, but it's primarily in English, and we can't reach everyone in India with that, so it would be great if there could be also more regional languages and Hindi and other languages. And also the same goes for employers, for a lot of small, medium-sized companies. They've never hired somebody from abroad. They don't know what they're doing before they have the person coming over to Germany. Language training also is something that employers should support and make accessible for people that come to Germany. Social integration is important, local networks are really important, but the Indians also want to connect with the German. I was doing a workshop the other day, and I was telling about all the great Indian networks that are there in Germany, and they all told me, no, I have already so many Indian friends, please tell me where can I meet the Germans? I want to get in touch with the Germans. And overall, we need to see that the migrants are here to become part of the German economy, and we need to treat them as a stakeholder in the process and not as an external source. Okay, now I'm quickly going to introduce our projects. We have Pro-Recognition. This is an information office for employment migration to Germany. So we support any working professional who wants to go to Germany through, for example, the recognition process, but we also support with the visa questions. It is a very bureaucratic process. We are fully aware about that. But Pro-Recognition, for example, is one of the offices somebody can turn to without any fees to get information for the migration to Germany. We don't charge anything. We are funded by the Education Ministry, and we get per year around 1,000 requests for personal consultation, which is more than what we can handle. But we also managed to build up a database of people who are interested to migrate to Germany, who are actively looking for jobs, and most of them already started learning German. At the moment, it's around 3,500 people. And yeah, so this service is free. We also have a website with a lot of information where anybody from India who's interested in migration to Germany can inform themselves. And because we're talking about skilled migration, we're talking about people, I have a success story. This is Prem. He has worked as a physiotherapist in India. This is also important to note. We always talk about healthcare sector having a big gap. This is not just nurses coming from India. This is also physiotherapists, lab technicians that we also need. This is also doctors, dentists, and pharmacists that are coming from India to Germany, which we also support through Pro-Recognition. He came to us in May 2021. When he was in the B2 German course, so he already had invested a lot of time before he came to us. We supported with the recognition process. He first applied in Baden-Württemberg, but then it got really complicated there with the documents, so he withdrew his application there, applied again in NRW, and then he received a full recognition and a job offer. He said the best job offer he got was from a company in Hessen. So we helped him shift his application from NRW to Hessen, and he moved here in January 2024. He's living happily ever after. He's speaking really, really good German now and is really happy with his choices. Yes. Then the other project that we have is Hand in Hand for National Talents. There we support skilled professionals from Vietnam, India, and Brazil in the migration journey. It's a recruitment project. It's an end-to-end process where we really select candidates, prepare them for Germany, bring them together with the German companies, and also through IHKs in different regions, support them with the integration. We have no participation charges for participants, but there are fees for the companies who want to recruit candidates. And all the profiles that we have in Hand are online. Companies can see the profiles and see if they're interested to invite some candidate for an interview. We can then support with online interview and through any step in that whole migration journey. And yes, so the contact for companies here are very IHKs in Germany. They also have a success story. He's Tarun. He joined Hand in March 2022. He participated in the German classes, so Hand in Hand was funding the German course for him. He learned from absolutely no German skills until B1 level and got a partial recognition as an electrician. He participated in workshops, so we also have a lot of preparation workshops, pre-integration, pre-departure preparation, and he then got an online interview with the company in October 23. Then he got 2 months later, got a job offer, also just for you to see. We have companies and they interview people and then we don't hear anything for month on end until they actually decide somebody hiring. That is also an issue that the migration process, of course, makes the migration process even longer if companies take so much time to decide. And he then applied for visa in February 2024 and came over here and is now close to Erfurt in Thuringia. Yeah? Okay, then I want to get to a few challenges, hurdles on the way. We have the interest from the Indian side, so we have the supply. We also know that the German companies have a demand. Why haven't we reached happily ever after yet? There's still the language that is a bottleneck. Deutsche Sprache, schwere Sprache. We have a different level of expectation also that are sometimes regulatory. So sometimes the law says the person doesn't need any German skills to get a visa. But the company will say, like, but for this person to do their job well, we of course need fluent German skills. So we see there's a big gap there. And it's also incredibly difficult sometimes for candidates to finance, to invest into their future and invest into a German course. And we also hear from some companies that they would need context-specific, profession-specific German levels, German skills, which is really difficult because we have teachers in India that teach great German, but they wouldn't know like electrical parts of an engine, who's going to be there to teach this context-specific, profession-specific German skills. The recognition of qualification is done like on a handmade case-by-case basis. So if we have a batch of 10 people that have the same qualification from India that go to the same company in Germany, we would still look at each person individually and compare each paper to the German standards, which is of course a little bit inefficient. And what makes it even more complicated is that we have different recognition authorities depending on the states, depending on the profession, and also where the person wants to go in Germany. That makes it really complex, not just for the candidates, also for employers to understand. The integration sometimes is inconsistent. Again, we have small, medium-sized companies that hire somebody from abroad for the first time. I had a company that wrote very nicely to the candidate in English the job offer that they were going to give them, but they put the figure in the way we write it in German, which is a comma is a dot and a dot is a comma. So then the candidates called me and were like, how will I survive in Germany on €2.60? This is way too little for me to get by. It is a process. The German companies are trying hard, but I mean, they're at the beginning of the journey, I think, sometimes. We have a fragmentation. We have different actors, we have different ministries responsible for skilled migration, we have the lender, then we have other institutions, and sometimes it feels like we are involved in different sectors, different ministries do different things. And what is also really difficult that we lack a long-term reliable way to plan. We have no forecasting for the professions. Really difficult to say, okay, in the next 3 years, how many electricians will we need in this region? We are doing very much recruitment that is ad hoc, depending on the demand in that very moment, without planning like long-term ahead. Yes. And then just to look a little bit upwards, outlook. The migration is about trust. We do need the trust between the companies, the trust that the skilled people that are coming in from India are up to the mark, are able to do the job that they will have. But we also need the trust between the countries, Germany and India, and between the different institutions. We know that the labor shortage will prevail, so even if we talk a little bit about an economic downturn, the labor shortage is not going to go anywhere, it will still be there in the next years. So it makes sense to start planning ahead long term. We also want to build a sustainable system. As mentioned by Honorable Consul, it should be a win-win-win situation for all actors involved and not just for one of the actors. And also, I see that other European countries are also looking now at opening up and improving their migration laws. And I think the Indo-German corridor could set an example there for the other countries to come if we do it well.